Welcome back guys to our YouTube channel Big Business, and today we will be studying accounts. So first of all, let me tell you what is capital. The definition of capital I have told you in the earlier videos also, but today the topic which I would be teaching, so you should need a revision of capital. So the capital is the amount invested by the owner in a business. So I repeat it again, the amount invested by the owner in a business is known as capital. It is also called owner's claim. So the amount invested by the owner in a business is known as capital. It is also known as owner's claim. So the term capital is known as owner's claim also because it is the amount invested by the owners. So just the opposite of these two terms, just the opposite of these two terms is drawings. It is a new term, drawings. So what is it? Let me explain you. Drawings, the amount withdrawn, that is the owner withdraws, take back the money from the business. The amount withdrawn by the owner from a business is known as drawings. So let me define it again. The amount withdrawn by the owner from a business is known as drawings. So I am here making a, first of all, this was the thing. So I am now, so the first of all, the drawings is just opposite to the capital. They both are opposite to each other. And now I am drawing a flow chart here where I will tell you that how what is the difference between the business and the capital. So I am representing the alphabet B, business. So I am representing business by the alphabet B. So here there is a person O, that means the owner. Now he gives rupees 10 lakh to the business. Now it would be called, the term would be called as capital. You know how? Because the amount invested by the owner in a business is known as capital, it is also known as owner's claim. So here, when the owner gives business rupees 10 lakh, it is known as capital. But when the owner takes back the money, takes back 10 lakh rupees, he withdraws the money from the business, then it would be known as drawings. So first of all, this was the thing for today, and now I will be telling you the difference between the debtors and creditors. So first of all, I will explain you this by giving you a flow chart. So just a second. So I hope you can see. So there's a business B. So I am representing business by the alphabet B. So it buys goods from the suppliers. It buys goods from the supplier. So it purchased the goods. Purchased what? Goods. And goods on credit. That is, the business took the goods from the supplier on loan. It has not given the money. So first of all, it would become liability for the business. You know what is liability? It is the amount invested by the outsiders in a business. That is, they give. First of all, due to liability, creditors arises, and creditor arises due to the taking of loans or assets on credit, that is on loan. So there's a business which purchases good from supplier on credit, that is on loan, so due to which this supplier becomes a liability of the business. And due to this liability, as I told you, it is the amount invested by the outsiders in a business, and due to liability, not due to liability, but due to these taking of loans, taking of money on credit, taking of assets on credit, what arises? Creditors. So these both, supplier and creditors, are same because the business purchases goods on credit from the supplier, so the supplier becomes liability to the business, and this supplier, and due to liability, creditor arises, so the supplier becomes creditor to the business. So the here we can write that the business has to pay amount to the supplier, so we will write here amount to be paid. See, first of all, as I told you in the earlier video, that we always take see from the point of view of business, so here we will write amount to be paid. That is, the business have to pay the amount that it has taken on credit to the supplier. And now customer, I am here writing customer. So what? So first of all, the goods which the business has purchased from the suppliers is now sold to the customer. Sold goods on credit. Now the customer has taken loan, that is, it has not paid the money, the amount, but has taken the goods. So now here we will get back the money, the business will get money, so the customer become assets. You know what is asset? As I told you earlier, assets are the valuable items which are owned by the business. So the goods which are sold by the to the business by the business to the customer on credit, so here the customer becomes asset for the business, as it has to give back the money. So the company will own, the business will own the money, due to which it will become the asset for the company or the business. And what is asset? Asset is the valuable items that are owned by the company. So the customer becomes the asset, and the assets are debtors. The debtors are those from which the money has to be received, that they will give the money. And creditors are those from to which the money has to be paid, that we have taken goods on credit, so we have to pay back the money. So here we will write amount to be received. Here I am writing amount to be received, amount to be paid from the business point of view, amount to be received. So now I am writing the definitions of the creditors and debtors. So on the next page, first of all, you can see this full thing. Yes, I have explained you. So now what are debtors? First of all, debtors are assets because they have to give back the money. So we will write debtors are the customers, as I told you. See, these are the full approved definitions. You can write in exams, you will get full marks. Are the customers to whom, see, first of all I am writing definition. The goods have been sold on credit and the amount is still to be received. So they are assets for business. See, now I am telling you what's the benefit of writing flowcharts. See, here I told you. So now I am telling you the benefit of using flowcharts. So here, as I told you, the business has sold the goods to the customer on credit, and now as the amount is to be received by the business, that is, the customer will give the amount to the business. Here now the customer becomes assets for the business, because the money it will give, the company will own the money, and therefore they are known as debtors. So here also same thing I have written there, that was in the language of flowchart, and this is the simple definition, that debtors are the customers. See, customer to whom the goods have been sold. Goods sold on credit, and the amount is still to be received. That is, they become assets for us, and they are assets for the business. So it is same. And the second definition is creditors. I'm writing here creditors. So what are creditors? Creditors are suppliers. See, it is the same thing as we have written in the flowchart. Creditors are suppliers from whom goods have been purchased on credit. So what are creditors? Creditors are suppliers from whom goods have been purchased on credit. They are those individuals from whom the goods have been taken on credit. These both are one and the same thing, and the amount is still to be paid. They are liabilities for the business. So see, first of all, liabilities here assets to whom the goods have been sold on credit and amount is still to be received. The amount is still to be paid. See, these two, the amount is still to be paid, liabilities, and here the amount is still to be received and assets. These are two things which should come in a definition, and you can see as in the flowchart we have also done the same thing. Goods purchased on credit, they become liabilities, they are known as creditors, and here liabilities and creditors are both the same individual and amount to be paid. So we have just written in the definition form these both things. So these were the two important definitions which I wanted to tell you today. And so now I will be teaching you one more thing. This would be the last topic of today's video. So just a second. Yes. So first of all, I am giving an example. See, there is a shoe factory which manufacture 10,000 shoes per month, and CP, that is cost price of each shoe, is rupees 100, and the selling price of each shoe is rupees 200. That is, the amount is doubled. So now from this example, see the total units is equals to 10,000, and so total CP, that is the cost price in which the shoes are made, is this much, 10 lakhs. Total SP 200 into 10,000, so I'm adding 4 zeros, 20 lakhs. So total profit, this is simple maths, total profit is 10 lakhs. So this is simple maths of profit and loss. So here I wanted to tell you that here the total profit, it is known as first of all profit, that we have won 10 lakh rupees. Total CP, the amount which was sent to manufacture 10,000 shoes, is known as, I am writing here, expense. And the total SP, selling price, the amount which is received by selling 10,000 shoes, is known as revenue. So what is expense? The expense is the amount spent to manufacture goods that is known as expense, and the amount received after selling those goods, selling the goods is known as revenue. And what is profit? Profit is the amount received by actually subtracting revenue from expense. That is the from subtracting total revenue from expense. I have minus revenue from this expense, and see there can be loss also. So the formula of profit can be profit is equals to revenue minus expense. So that is SP minus CP. This was the formula which we learned in maths in junior classes. And what is the formula of loss then? It is simple: expense minus revenue. It is just the opposite, that is CP, when the cost price of the product or good is more than the selling price of the good. So here you should learn this formula, because this formula you have already learned. You have to learn this formula. Okay, this was simple. See, I am teaching you whole concepts, all the concepts from the basic one, so you should not have any problem. And if you have any problem, you can comment down, I will surely answer. So what is the revenue? Now I am telling you the elaborated definition of revenue. So it is the amount receivable or received. See, the party to which we are selling the goods can make the payment on the same day, or can ask for some time to make the payment. So it can be receivable or received after the selling of goods or products. So to write good is preferred, not products, but for your convenience I am writing this. So first of all, it is the inflow of money. See, we always see from the point of view of business. So when we receive revenue, that is the money is coming to our business. So this is revenue. What is expense? So it is the amount incurred. It can be also, in Hindi we call it kharch karna. In English we can say it, the other word is that it is the amount spent for the manufacturing of goods. It is known as expense. Outflow of money. See, for your convenience I am writing here two more words, that is, it is the amount of business, I am writing here, operations. That is the, first of all, the definition would remain the same if you do not add this, but now the full definition is, it is the amount of business operation incurred for the manufacturing of goods. That is the, first of all, for example, this is a manufacturing company. It first buys raw material from the supplier, then it does production process, and then finally the finished materials comes out. So it is the business operation. Here business operations means the production process. That is the production process incurred for the manufacturing of goods. When the business does the production process, some amount is spent by the company in buying the raw materials and buying the machinery for the production process. So it is the amount of the business operations. See, business operations are here the amount to buy raw materials, the machine used, and the other things. So incurred, that is spent for the manufacturing goods, it is known as expense. That is the outflow of money. So see, why we do expense? We do expense, or we will write business does expense to get revenue. See, first we'll do expense, then we sell it, then we'll get a revenue. From it we can calculate a profit or loss. So this was it. And now I will tell you the types of debtors which we have in our business. So first of all, as I told you, the debtors, what are debtors? They are the assets for the business from whom the amount is to be received as the goods have been sold to them on credit. So debtors are of three types. This is the last topic. First, good debtors. Second, doubtful. Third, bad. So what are good debtors? Good debtors are those debtors from whom we are sure that the amount which has to be received from them, they will return it in time. So the probability is 100% and the amount is recoverable. Here it is 50% that the amount can be received or the amount cannot be received, and here it is 0% that the amount is not recoverable. So what are good debtors? Good debtors are those good debtors are those debtors from which it is sure that the amount which has to be received to the business by selling the goods on credit to them is recoverable, that they will give the amount on time. Doubtful debtors, that it is first of all, the probability is 50% that they can return the amount or they cannot return the amount. And bad debtors are those, the probability is 0% that they will not return the amount, so the amount is not recoverable, and that's why they are known as bad debtors. So that's for it for the today's video. Please like, share and comment, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe.